I think it would be cool to talk about when anxiety can be a good thing, because it's not always bad, right?
Yeah.
And you were telling me you had a patient that was overcoming some of the problems that you had been working on, and now they were having anxiety whenever they would deviate from their positive path and start to slip back into their negative mindset. They would start experiencing a similar anxiety that they were experiencing before. And they came to you and they were like, Dr. Mike, why am I experiencing this anxiety? I thought it was getting better. And you told them
it was a sign of progress.
It's a sign of
So
progress.
I know what case you're talking about.
Yeah.
I had a patient, ADHD, anxiety, depression. Now, if you guys watched a prior podcast, we talked about how to turn against defenses. Jeff asked me, how do I turn against and stop procrastinating? So I'll just reiterate it here. Procrastination is avoidance. That is a defense. How do I defend against something that is painful, uncomfortable, distressful? So I avoid. So Jeff asked me, how do we treat this? Step one, acknowledging that the avoidance behavior, aka procrastination, is a problem. Second, what has the cost of this problem, this avoidance been? I will have patients literally journal out, what has the cost of this avoidance been to my life, and what can it continue to be if I continue to engage in avoidance behavior moving forward? Once patients have done this and they recognize that their procrastination and avoidance is a massive problem that has that has caused them like great cost in their life, personally, professionally, socially, they start to turn against it. Now, this patient was again engaging in avoidance behavior. The battery in her car was out. She had to call AAA and get them to just change the battery. Her cousin from out of the country was coming in a week later and she had to drive him around, and she has been avoiding calling AAA for 4 days. Now, she was so anxious that she was literally vomiting. She couldn't sleep.
Wow.
And she's like, Dr. Mike, what the fuck is going on? Why am I so insanely anxious? Now here, she has engaged in this type of avoidance behavior for the past 30 years.
Yes.
Has it ever caused this level of anxiety? No. Why is it causing this level of anxiety now? Because she has identified it as a problem. She knows the intense cost of this avoidance in her life and the cost that will continue to be paid if she engages in this behavior moving forward. She is now engaging in it now, and she's consciously aware of it. And her body is now picking this up as a threat.
Her anxiety as a threat.
No, her avoidance behavior.
Avoidance as a threat.
Her avoidance behavior is being picked up as a threat because of the risk of it continuing to engage in this avoidance behavior. She has already outlined the cost of it. So now that she is engaging in this avoidance and she's recognizing how big of a problem it is and how big of a cost it's come to her life, it now registers as such a big threat. And what is anxiety? It's threat detection. So now her anxiety gets so elevated that it's going to compel her to act.
To do the right thing.
To do the right thing.
Yes.
So now we have shifted her mind to recognize the defense as a threat. So her compulsion is to do the healthy thing and confront, because as she sits in her avoidance, it is literally making her sick. So here is a great example of the fruits of our labor.
And you make sure that's clear to her. This is a positive thing.
Absolutely.
Listen to your anxiety in this case.
And here we have an example of pain is part of progress and turning against a defense, aka avoidance, and how peaked anxiety can be a signal of progress and turning against this defense of procrastination and avoidance.
The way I can relate to that is with eating healthy and working out, right? I like to drink and have a good time with my friends, right? If I'm making a lot of progress in the gym, then if I go out at night and I'm thinking about getting a drink, it's going to cause me anxiety because I'm going to think, oh, it's going to throw off my progress tomorrow.
You know the cost of the alcohol consumption. I know the cost
of it, right? It's going to throw off my I mean, I'm not deadlifting. Because if I'm hungover, like I'm not trying to deadlift, and that's going to throw off my whole plan, you know, everything I set out for myself this week. But it's a good thing to recognize that.
Yes.
So I don't have the drink. I just have a normal dinner without the drink with my friends, and I go have a great workout the next day, and I continue on my merry way, and it's a healthy form of anxiety.
Here we have an example of holistic psychiatric care, right? These are the things we work on. Defenses, the cost of defenses, like avoidance, how to turning against it. This is so much more than just, hey, take this pill, see you later, right?
100%.
This is holistic psychiatric care. How do we cure the patient? How do we extinguish self-defeating behaviors? And how do we make meaningful change, progress, and growth to get ourselves out of depression or anxiety in a more permanent way?